Hey everyone, wanted to do a quick video here on how to do a firmware update on the RetroBlaster programmer. I've been asked this a lot and I wanted to break it down and show how the best way to do the update quickly and pretty painlessly. So first thing, make sure you don't have any adapters in the adapter slot, and we're going to make sure that your programmer is plugged in. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we can get this thing into the proper mode, which is DFU here. So we're going to come up, open the device manager. And when the programmer is working, it'll show up here as a USB serial device. But USB serial device means that it is in running mode. It is not ready for an update. So we need to change that. We're going to go here, hit DFU. So now you can see that device disappeared and we now have a 1890 USB 128 DFU device here. This does not mean the programmer is ready for an update. This means that Windows has recognized that there's a DFU device plugged in, but you can see it's got this little exclamation point. That means that we don't have the right driver. So what we're going to do is we're going to come onto the internet here. We're going to go onto the RetroBlaster or the RetroStage GitHub page. And from here, we're going to download the newest stuff. So for the software, RetroBlaster software, this is the newest version. Click on it, and then over here on the right, there's a button for download. Hit that, it'll download it, just save it to wherever you want on the computer. For the firmware, we're going to go to firmware updates, and you'll see that there are two different versions here. One is the first gen, that is for the old RetroBlaster hardware, and that is not covered in this video, but the one we're looking for is the 2.0, and that is always referring to this hardware here with the adapters. So we're going to click on 2.0. Here is the most recent firmware. Click on that, and on the right hand side there's a button that says raw. Hover over that, right click it, and go save link as. Okay, if you do that, you'll get the firmware file properly. If you just go and right click here and go save as, the firmware will be corrupt. It is not, that's not the proper way to get a hex file out of GitHub. So again, click on it, right click on raw and go save link as, and then it should save the proper hex file. I've already done that, so I'm not going to save it again, but that's the idea there. So now we have everything that we need from the RetroBlaster GitHub page. So we're going to get out of there, and we're going to come and we need to update our firmware, or sorry, update the driver to get us into the firmware update section. So we're going to right click on that and go update firmware, and we're going to browse for the correct one, and it's actually included with the RetroBlaster download. So it's in the drivers folder. Just click on drivers, click OK. We're going to click next. It should find the driver automatically and install it. So there we go. Windows has successfully updated the driver. So now we see it up here, Atmel USB device. Now we're ready for a firmware update. Again, if you don't see this up here, then the device is either not in DFU mode or you have not installed the driver yet. So this has to be done first. So we're done in here. Let's close Device Manager. We'll come into the RetroBlaster software folder, and what we're going to do is the next step, go into the firmware files directory, and then we have a program called Flip Installer. Flip is the program that Atmel uses for updating the firmware on their devices, and so that's what we're going to need to install. So go ahead and install that. I've already installed it on this system, so what we're going to do now is run it. So I'm going to go flip. Okay, so now in Flip, the first thing we have to do is select the device that we're going to be writing to. So we're going to go Device, Select, and what we're looking for in this huge list is Atmel 90 USB 1286. Okay, hit OK. We're going to come over to this little USB plug, and we're going to open the USB port. So click on USB and then open. So that should connect us to the device. And then the last step is to go and load the hex file. So in here, we're going to go and select the one we just downloaded. And then we're going to click Run. So it'll say programming, verifying, and as soon as you see verify pass down here, it means that it should have gone through. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just unplug the programmer, and then we're going to plug it back in. Okay. Now on some programmers, it may not want to do the DFU mode when you're in 5-volt mode. So switch it to 3-volt mode and then try it again. So that's kind of it. Most programmers are going to work fine with the 5-volt, but if for some reason it doesn't want to go through, then it just select the 3-volt mode, and that just depends on your system. So, so now that we're in the proper newest firmware update, let's go ahead and start up the RetroBlaster software. And if we want to verify, if we just go up here to click on version, we should now see that we are on version 2.4. So our update went through, the programmer's ready to go, and that is all. Okay, thanks for watching.